This show, we about to do it. My man, the legend, my guest today, Mr. Talon Harris. Let's rock. 5 quick questions. Let's go. What up, y'all? It's your boy, Roddy Berry. Here we go. My guest for today, we've been friends for a number of years, but 30 years in the game. Consummate professional. He's one of the kings of New York. He is a legend, real deal. He's an actor. He's a comedian. He's a father. He's a dope ass dude, and he's tall as hell. I real deal, man. I know you're tall, but it's not until you're standing next to the guy that you go a legit 6'6", 6'7". Legit. Real deal, legit. Like Dugar be trying to talk like he tall, but he ain't tall. Dugar, 6 foot, 6'1".
He about 6'1". Anything you're around 6'5". To me, anything over 6'3", 6'4", you tall.
You tall. And I want to talk to you about that, man. The name of the show is 5 Quick Questions. Question number 1: has being tall ever hindered your comedy career?
No hindrance there. Being tall actually helps because in the early days, there were a lot of instances and situations where when people were throwing, I always call it like the comedy learning era. Like, we were making rooms, but we were emulating what was going on in comedy clubs. So because we were making rooms, a lot of these rooms didn't have a stage. So you're on the floor. So when you're on the floor, the stage is there for a reason. It's to elevate you and kind of showcase you so you stand out. So you take that stage away and the person's on your level on the floor. Now it puts more pressure on his comedy and vernacular to be dominant, to hold the room. So being tall, even without the stage, it kind of still gave me a stage. Gave me an invisible leg up as far as stages go. So in those early days, it came in handy like a mug.
Hey, you know what? Any leg up you get in the early days, Question number 2, Talon Harris, man. You have probably influenced more comedians than most. You're not afraid to take on the mentor role. Why do you help people, man?
I think it has to do with, I really don't know, but if I had to guess, I think it has to do with who I came up through, the people that I came up through who was like, gatekeepers in New York at the time. That's the way they kind of trained me. And I just took the torch and took them as representation because the same question you asked me, I asked them. I'm like, you could easily go fly on your own, but you're sitting in this pocket helping these comedians come through. A guy named Monteria Ivy, he was the original host of the Uptown Comedy Club. Even before the TV show. I mean, he hosted the TV show, but he was the host of the place before it got a TV show. And then he went on to write book Snaps. The book Snaps, he put about 8 versions of that out, 2 Snaps album CDs, and 2 HBO specials with Snaps. So he took that little snapping on the end of the show and ran with it. But he was that guy that taught me, to help others, because he actually put hands on and helped a lot of us. From Tracy Morgan to Corwin to Maceo, to Flex Alexander to Jim Brewer, Rob McNally. I mean, Atomic Dog. Like, it's a long list of comics. What's my man? Dougie Doug, Chris Rock, even. All those guys came through the Uptown at one point.
Oh wow!
And he was that guy.
Man, Talon, man, talk to me about New York comedy, man, because talk to me about New York black comedy, because there's a mainstream comedy world that I feel doesn't really show the homage and respect to the real deal black comics in New York. Is that true, or am I off base?
Well, see, first of all, it would be true if we can call them mainstream. I'm working on a documentary right now that's going to kind of like clear up where we are today and where we came from. Like, used to be a time when there was black comedy versus white comedy or mainstream. I think now we done dwarfed what they consider mainstream and took over. So the top box office sellers for every comedy club and every theater is a black comic.
Wow,
so
true.
And not just one. You know what I mean?
That is the mainstream.
Yeah, if you was to put the top 10 together, you might be lucky to put 2 white dudes in it. No more than 3. I would give you 3 because I would give you like an Amy Schumer, and I would give you a Bill Burr, and maybe like a Dave Attell or Jeff Foxworthy. But other than that, you're dealing with the Kevin Harts and the Chris Rocks, and the, you know what I mean, and the Wayans, and we dwarfed what comedy was. We flipped the script and kind of just took over this thing.
Wow, man, that's interesting perspective because I'm looking for everything to go left, but what you're saying is we are the mainstream.
We took it over. Like my documentary is called "This Is Comedy," right? It's this is black comedy, but you scratch out, you put an X through black, and it says "This Is Comedy," and it tells the story when the metamorphosis began in the 90s, actually 1990, and it flipped the script of black comedy. Got so strong that half the comedy clubs in this country at one point was closing down. If you didn't adapt and put that in part of your club, whether it was Black Night or it metamorphosed from getting a Black Night to turning into black headliners for the full weekend. And here you go with the Tommy Davidsons and the Ralph Harrises and the Dave Chappelle.
Yes.
So we dwarfed and flipped it. The ones who survived in the comedy club game at that time was the ones like the Carolines that said, you know what, let's go to the radio and give them these black nights every week. And then that turned into, they started watching, actually seeing the funny and the following, and started putting those guys in full weekend headliner spots.
Wow. The name of the show is 5 Quick Questions. We are 3 questions in. We're almost there. Question number 4. Kings of New York. Man, when you guys are having, first of all, whose brainchild was it? And how ballsy is that to call yourself the King of New York? I think that's just, say what you want to say about New York, but New York is the Mecca. And so if you're the king of New York, you're kind of the king of the United States of America. Talk to me about the Kings of New York and what y'all created in that.
Well, first of all, I'm going to give the credit to Gerald Kelly.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to give the credit to Gerald Kelly because I remember the conversation vividly. Secondly, we didn't look at it like it's it reminds me of my name. My name is talent, right? So all my white colleagues in comedy thought I was this. They thought I was the asshole. They was like, the nerve of this guy. Like, who names
himself talent?
I never looked at it like that. But that's how the Caucasian part of it looked at it. Like, they looked at it like you had to be the ballsiest, most arrogant dude to have the balls to name yourself that. I looked at it like I got the name in middle school, right? And I came up with the name because I was doing a lot of things. None of it was comedy. I was playing 3 sports. I was a graffiti artist. I was a break dancer. I was a rapper, a DJ. Like, I was doing all of this stuff that
the boy got talent.
I needed a name. I said to myself, it was 2 things. I needed a name that encapsulated everything that I did. But more importantly, I wasn't that good at graffiti where certain letters escaped me, right? My skill. So I needed letters that were easy for me to tag. And all those, if you look at them, they're basic block letters. TALENT. Ain't no squigglies. It's all block letters, easy to do graffiti. So that's like the New York Kings. We didn't look at it like we're the best of the best. What we did look at it was like a business and economically. Gerald was like, listen, I know we all kind of compete with each other and some of us don't get along, whatever the case may be. He said, but T, all the rooms in the tri-state of New York are hosted by one of us. There was 5 of us in the beginning. And he was like, if you're not the host, Capone's the host. If Capone's not the host, Rob Stapleton's the host. If Rob's not the host, GK's the host. If GK's not the host, Drew Frazier was the host. So between us 5, you could not come to New York and do comedy and not be working with one of us.
You had to see y'all, for sure.
You had to come through. If you're going to do anything, we were the gatekeepers of all the rooms. So he was like, now imagine this. He said, let's just say, he said, you think you could get 300 to 500 people out to see you? I said, absolutely. He said, so do we. So if 5 people could get 500 people out, that's 2,500 people. He said, let's say some of us are sharing fans. All right, so let's dumb it down to 3. 3 times 5 is still 15. So let's go start. We could take our thing. The initial idea was the Apollo. He was like, it's 1,500 seats in the Apollo. We could sell that out. And we was like thinking about it, like, it's a good idea. It can happen, but then again, it can not happen too. So we sold ourselves short on that first show. We went into the Apollo with the idea, and they were like, yeah, that's not a bad idea, right? But the Apollo people, in charge was like, you know what? We're going to pay y'all for that. We're going to pay y'all a guaranteed fee and promote the hell out of it and see what we do with this thing. And man, this is May. My birthday is May 9th. This is in May, my birthday. The year is 2000, and which is 22 years ago. The year is 2000, and we sell this joint out, right? Now we pissed because that little $2,000 that we split 10 grand. So that little $2,000, and we looking at these dudes bringing 200,000. we like, man, we should have had 10 grand a piece. But going forward, it was a blessing because it gave us that staple in the community here that just gave us that pushing power. And more importantly, because we did, that first goof off made us be tighter with the business part of it. So it was dope.
Man, the last question, man. The name of the show is 5 Quick Questions. We're talking to Talon Harris, the businessman. You are the quintessential comedic businessman. There's not many that fall in your shoes. Maybe one in each city. Damon Williams in Chicago, Touré in Philly. There's certain guys you got to see, but not only do you got to see, but their business acumen is always on point. Whether it's merchandise, whether it's how they run their own business, whether it's the fact that they're always working. And when I think of Talon Harris, I think of a guy that's always working, and judging by even the shirt you got on now, the business is always tight. So talk to me about why you're such a great entrepreneur in addition to being a great comedian.
Well, you know what happened to me is like, one thing is like, even before being a comedian, I was always analytical, always analyze things around me. And I remember I'm thinking like maybe a year and a half in comedy. And I go to a show, I'm booked on a show close to the home, like the next town over. And it's a hotel ballroom, holds about 350. And I get to the show, I think I'm making, there's probably 4 of us making like $1.25, $1.50. And I get to the show and I get stuck at the door without going to the ballroom because these girls who are running the door for the promoter, I went to school with them. So I hadn't seen them. So we all said, so we just talking. And as I'm talking, they doing, people are coming in, they collecting tickets, whatever. And then some girl comes in, and this is where the light bulb goes off. Some girl comes in, and I have no idea what's in the room. Again, I haven't gone in the room. And she was like, is it sold out? How much are the tickets at the door? Because we want to go. We don't have no advance tickets. And the girl was like, well, I want to say 35. Now, this is 92 or something, 92, 93. And she was like, oh, it's 35, 40 at the door, whatever. She was like, okay, it's 6 of us. She was like, okay, we got you. She sells them the tickets and they go in, and then the girl closes the money box and goes, oh, that's it. We sold out, right? And I was like, sold out? I was like, how many people at home? She said, oh, it's packed in there. It's 350. We can't sell past 350. Right away, my high school CPA kicked in. I'm like, dude, that's like over 10 grand. I'm like, and the light bulb goes off like, okay, it's 4 of us at 125. That's $500. DJ, rental. I said, with everything, this dude can't be paying more than $1,500, $2,000 for everything, DJ, everything. And he's bringing in 11, 12 grand. Wow. I'm like, this dude's clearing 10 grand. I'm like, T, you got to get on that side of the gate. And I swear to goodness, in that moment in time, I started to make my first T-shirts. I studied everything. I'm sitting there asking 100 questions. Everywhere I went, I started asking questions. I need to know how to get a flyer. Who's the guy that print them? Who designs them? Who lay them out? how much they cost.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I get the small posters and the t-shirt? How much are the t-shirts and how do I get the screen printed? That, right from that moment, I'll never forget that night sprung all that, and I was like, I need to be on that side of the gate. I know I'm going to be funny enough to be good on this side, but I need to take care of myself on that side so I can maximize the potential.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I know I'm at 5 questions. I need a bonus. So you go through that. You make that decision. You're on the other side of the game. Have being on that side of the game ever affected your comedy? Like sometimes when you become the promoter, you can kind of lose your comedy in that thing, but you seem never to have lost that.
Nah, I think because thank God for natural comedic ability. I think because my stuff comes from a natural type of thing, and it's just who I am. Like I've had things business wise go wrong, and then I got to get on stage. I turn that into the comedy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we don't stop. Like if you're natural, that's how it's going to play out. Like if I had to go up there and I had a monologue each time, it may have affected it, but I never stick to the monologue. Even when I try my best to give myself a monologue, I never stick to it. Like, you know, every time, all my shows are, shh. All right, where do we go from here?
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but it never really affected that. And I've had some things happen where, you know how it is, Rodney, as a comic, we're forced inadvertently to persevere through almost everything, bro. Like we've been from funerals to shows. You know, we've been from jail cells to shows.
Right.
Real comedians done been through it, bro. I done been through. I tell you, man, like I've been through, you know, warrant out for your arrest, take you in, and I'm doing this the whole time I'm in the cell. When can I see a judge? I can make this show. One time I was in North Carolina. True story. My middle son's mom had moved from Brooklyn to North Carolina, and this evil motherfucker, this chick just laid on wait. He's everywhere. He's gonna come here. Waited till I hit Raleigh Durham to do a college, and heard him on the radio. Rushed down to the police station. Now in North Carolina, the laws are a little different. You know, where you can just go into a police station, say something, and me and you got a warrant. Forget if it's true or not. You just said it. So she was like, "Oh my God, he's a deadbeat dad, and we've been looking for him." But whatever, they put that warrant out, and by the way, he's going to be over doing he got a show at the college, and man, the state trooper or police, whoever it was, they go to a sheriff's office. They go to the school and park by the gate where the cars come in at, and wait for the limo to pull up. Stop the limo. Is James Harris back there? It was like, yeah. All right, hold on a second. They come to the back. I roll the window down. James Harris, I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, get out the car for a minute. Got a warrant for you. Warrant. So us being comics the whole time, I swear to God, I'm like, this school's going too far with this practical joke shit, right?
Right.
I'm like, all right, cuff me, yeah. It wasn't until they hit me with the infamous "watch your head." I said, "Oh shit, wait, where we going?"
You're serious?
Watch your head, sir. I said, wait a minute. So I get to the joint, and again, this is a true story. I'm looking at my watch, like if I get to when they're gonna see you, just wait a minute. I'm like, shit. I'm counting, looking at the clock, because I got a window. It's me and Kid Capri, so I got a window. My kid, and you know, my people done talked to Kid already. Like, okay, well, I'll do my thing, and when he get out, we'll just stop and down for him to perform and then go back to the park. We already got it worked out, but it's taking forever. So I mean, one dude said to me, coming, I say, man, you know how long it's gonna be? He said, I don't know, but check this out. Once they put you in that orange jumper, you hear. You know, so the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm the only dude not in the orange jumper, like, yo, I said, come on. I'm looking at the clock, and like about an hour and a half in, some dude opened the door. So I'm thinking he come to get me to go to the judge. That nigga laid that orange jumper down. Hope that fits you. I'm like, I'm not putting this on. Grace of God, 10 minutes later, I go see the magistrate. And they was like, well, you don't live in the state, so we got to get you back in court and all that. Bail, $3,000 cash bail, right? Why do I just happen to have $3,000 in my book bag in the hotel room?
Wow.
So my cousin gets to come in and talk to me. I said, bruh, go. I told him exactly what pocket and all that. come pay that and get. So we end up getting out of there, and I actually end up getting out of there just in the nick of time, get back to the school. But what happened at the school? There was a fight broke out. Party got shut down. So, dude, now I'm out of travel money. I'm out of the $3,000 I gave them.
Not
I owe
the
school
$3,000.
money. Bro, I owe the school money. $10,000 swing. I was like, yo, so salty. And then the next day, I'm on the first thing smoking to do what? To go jump on somebody's stage. Like, none of that happened in my life.
Wow. That's what it's all about, man.
I love it, though. Let me tell you something. All the trials, tribulations, I wouldn't change it for a damn thing in the world, bro.
Hey, wouldn't trade 1 minute of it.
Nope.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Tyler Harris is in the building. Thank you for coming on. Name of the show is 5 Quick Questions. Nobody can give you 5 questions like this. I gotta have you back on the show. We gotta talk analogies next time. Tyler and I not only friends, but we work on a show called Box Seats.
Yes, sir.
Where else can they find you, Tyler? How can people follow you?
Hey, man, I'm all over the web. If you're on Instagram, I'm Talent the Comedian, TALENT, Comedian, all one word, Talent the Comedian on Instagram. My slogan on Twitter, it's just comedy, spelled correctly, one word. It's just comedy. If you're on Facebook, King Talent Harris or NY King Talent Harris. Either way, man, I'm all over the web. Twitch, same thing. You know what I mean? Whatever you on, find me. Oh,
my man.
Pornhub and OnlyFans. I'm under
where you at?
I'm under Meat Rack.
Meat Rack? Oh shit. Hey, you heard it right here, ladies. If you're looking for some meat, you get from this young man. Young Meat Rack is got it cracking over on the OnlyFans. Again, 5 quick questions. Tyler Harris, man, love you, bro. Good stuff, bro. Thank you for coming on.
While, bro. Definitely.
Oh, let's go. Wow, great chat with the great Tyler Harris. 5 quick questions in the books. This is season 2. Season 2 is going down, and we can't do it without you. That's our show.